Now, people call this era the same thing. The so-called king is out there dancing before tip-off, calling himself the GOAT because he stacked up numbers over time. Meanwhile, many old-school fans swear Michael Jordan would have dominated faster in a softer era like this, maybe in 8 seasons or less. But that's not even what really pushed Shaq over the edge. Check this out. Because the game is different. Like, I want people to understand and our fans to understand that playing 82 games in the 80s and 90s is not the same as playing 82 games in the 2020s. Yeah, word is Shaquille O'Neal has finally hit his limit. Between the flashy party headlines, the bold fashion choices, and what he sees as disrespect toward the legends who sacrificed for this game, Shaq feels like something's off. He's not whispering either. He's saying it loud. And by the end of this, you'll understand why some people question the image built around LeBron's whole career. It's simple. Real fans remember when the NBA felt like psychological warfare. It wasn't just talent, it was intimidation, mind games, and pride. Every possession felt like a fight. Guys left it all on the hardwood. No smiles, no skits. Now, critics say LeBron James helped shift it into something that feels more like a talent showcase than a street fight. Picture this. The Lakers were battling hard in the standings, pressure high, season on the line. Then LeBron sits at the mic and jokes around, calling himself a 41-year-old kid. People heard that and couldn't believe it. This is the same guy the media places next to Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant in debates. For Shaq, it's not just about rings or stats anymore. It's about presence. He feels the king should move like a king, not like the class clown. Think about pre-game energy. When you faced the Nines Bulls, you didn't see Mike doing choreographed moves. You saw a locked-in competitor, eyes cold, cigar smoke in the air, staring through you like he already knew the ending. When Kobe stepped on the floor, you felt that Mamba stare, that blank, focused look that made veterans second-guess themselves. It wasn't loud, it was intense. But with LeBron, critics point to TikTok-style dances and flashy warm-ups. They see shirtless routines, cameras rolling, crowd buzzing, and they question the vibe. This was hours ago here at the arena. LeBron James going through what looks to be Then there's that new Lakers warm-up routine people keep roasting online. Some fans joke it looks more like a stage rehearsal than a pre-game lock-in. Fair or not, the clips keep spreading and the jokes keep coming. What even is LeBron James' new warm-up routine? Basically, LeBron throws up the basketball as high as he can, and once it lands, everyone on the team squats with him, and then LeBron just trots off. Shaq has been one of the loudest voices about it, and honestly, he sounds like he's speaking for a whole wave of old-school thinkers. On his podcast, he made it clear that being the GOAT isn't about popularity or followers. I've never really heard any players say they fear LeBron. To Shaq, the GOAT title is about dominance, fear, control. You can't be the king if everybody sees you as their buddy. Back in the day, if a legend caught you dancing before tip-off, they'd take that personal. They'd circle your name and aim for 50 just to send a message. Critics argue LeBron built a brand around being relatable, funny, and online friendly. But some say that comes at a cost. They claim it's not just personality, it's presence. Even Kevin Garnett once hinted that the Celtics didn't fear LeBron early on. KG's argument was that in 2010, Boston felt they cracked the code because the intimidation factor wasn't there.
You understand? That's how they end up winning that series. Y'all said it. We didn't give a damn about LeBron, we didn't fear LeBron, and we didn't think that he can beat all 5 of us. Now, stack that next to the stories about Jordan's aura. There are real accounts of players feeling nervous just checking into a game when MJ was already cooking. That energy was different. And today, fans are having a wild time clowning the latest LeBron warm-up clips. They say it's not just awkward, it's a distraction. While teammates are trying to lock in and handle business, the supposed leader of the team is treating the hardwood like it's a runway for his next viral clip. That's the criticism flying around. Shaq's whole philosophy was simple. Show up, dominate, break the rim, and go home. No extended dance routines, no performance art, just pressure and power. That old mindset was about fear, and critics say you can't build fear when you're joking around and calling yourself a goofy kid right after a tough loss. When Jordan lost, teammates said he was impossible to be around for days. It burned him. When LeBron loses, people see smiles, shows, and moments designed for the camera. That contrast is what bothers the legends. They don't just debate the stats, they question the energy. They question whether the face of the era carries that ruthless edge. Some even say the mindset feels too playful for someone chasing the throne. If you want to pinpoint the exact moment some veterans checked out, many point to 2016. After the Cavaliers completed that historic 3-1 comeback, LeBron looked into the camera and declared himself the greatest of all time. He didn't wait for the old guard to debate it, he stamped it himself. That one right there made me the greatest player of all time. And for players raised in the eras of Shaq, Jordan, and Kobe, that crossed the line. Back then, you didn't crown yourself. You made the league admit it because they were exhausted from trying to stop you. Nobody remembers MJ campaigning in press conferences to be called the best. He let 6 finals wins and 6 finals MVPs do the talking. Utah still remembers those daggers. Kobe moved the same way. 5 rings, countless clutch moments, no public self-coronations. The work spoke loud enough. Critics argue LeBron leans heavier on branding, the chosen one tattoo, the production, the messaging. They say he needs the narrative locked in so the resume doesn't get picked apart too closely. And the media plays its part. They highlight longevity like it's the ultimate crown. LeBron becoming the all-time leading scorer is historic, no doubt, but detractors frame it differently. They say it's a record built on playing 23 seasons at a high level. Meanwhile, Jordan captured 10 scoring titles in essentially 11 full seasons with Chicago. That's peak versus duration, and the debate gets heated fast. If we're talking pure dominance, critics bring up early 2000s Shaq. That version of Shaq was unstoppable. A three-peat, 3 straight finals MVPs, defenses looked helpless. They also point to LeBron's finals record, which stands at 4-6 in series. Some break it down further into individual finals games and say when the spotlight is brightest, the results haven't always favored him. Fair or unfair, that stat gets thrown around heavy. Jordan never left the Bulls to find a better setup in his prime. Bird, Magic, those guys stayed put and battled through it. That loyalty matters to old-school minds. They see LeBron's career path differently. In 2010, he made the decision and joined Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh.
Then came Los Angeles, pairing with Anthony Davis for another run. Supporters call that smart player empowerment. Critics call it stacking the deck. And Shaq, he seems to lean toward the second view. That's why when he was asked for his all-time starting 5, he left LeBron off and named guys like Kobe, MJ, and even Steph Curry instead. That spoke volumes. At the end of the day, the LeBron story is about longevity, versatility, and records that may stand for decades. The Shaq and Jordan story is about terrifying peaks, short windows where nobody else had a chance. Jordan has 5 MVPs and 10 scoring titles. Kobe had 5 championships and a mindset that teammates still talk about with respect. LeBron has 4 titles, 10 finals appearances, and a career that stretched across generations. So the real question becomes simple. Do you value the longest run or the highest peak? Do you respect loyalty and intimidation or adaptability and strategy? Shaq made his stance clear with his choices, and that's why this debate refuses to die. Shaq's mindset has always been clear. Being the GOAT isn't about surviving the longest in what critics call a softer era. It's about how many wars you won when the paint felt like combat. It's about dominance when every drive came with contact. And when people look at how LeBron talks about the legends who built the league, they start to question whether that king title is earned or just polished branding. Let's talk about the noise coming from the Mind the Game podcast. In January, LeBron argued that playing 82 games today is physically tougher than it was in the 90s. His point was pace and space, more running, more movement. But critics heard that and shook their heads. They say running in open space is not the same as absorbing elbows in the lane from defenders who made you earn every inch. To them, it sounds like rewriting history. Back then, the paint was packed. Hard fouls were common. You drove inside knowing you might hit the floor. Veterans iced their knees and backs just to move the next morning. So when LeBron frames today's speed as harder than that bruising era, old-school players feel dismissed. Shaq didn't stay quiet. He's argued that modern rule changes favor offensive stars, freedom of movement, tighter foul calls, less hand-checking. His logic is blunt. If defenders in his era had today's restrictions, scoring would have exploded even more. He's also said that if today's physicality matched the early 2000s, careers might look different. Shaq played during the Hack-a-Shaq days, when teams intentionally fouled him over and over. That was strategy. That was rough basketball. So when critics see stars resting for load management or sitting out with minor issues, they compare it to stories of past players competing through serious pain. Fair comparison or not, that contrast fuels the debate. Rule changes matter too. The 2004 hand-checking ban opened up driving lanes. Defensive 3-second rules reshaped how big men could camp in the paint. Supporters say that made the game more skilled and dynamic. Detractors say it erased the dominant defensive enforcer. Shaq has even joked that with today's spacing and whistle, he'd average video game numbers because no one could lean on him the way they used to. But the conversation doesn't stop at rules. It shifts to image. Critics argue that while legends like Jordan and Shaq built business empires quietly, LeBron embraced the spotlight of Hollywood and celebrity culture. That visibility brings scrutiny. Every appearance, every clip, every viral moment gets dissected. Yes, the Diddy clip resurfaced everywhere. The video of LeBron on IG Live saying "ain't no party like a Diddy party" spread fast once controversies around Diddy became public news. For some fans, it was just an old clip taken out of context. For others, it became symbolic of being too close to celebrity drama. Hey, everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party. So, yeah, that's what's up. Yeah, in the 90s and early 2000s, many stars kept tighter circles and avoided public crossover moments like that. But critics say with that visibility comes risk when controversies hit. Even loose associations can stain reputations. Then there was the viral image people keep bringing up, the so-called maid outfit moment. Some say it was a joke, a costume, a marketing bit. Others frame it as embarrassing for the face of the league. The reactions were loud either way. In the social media era, one image can spin 1,000 narratives overnight. Skeptics ask, could you picture Jordan leaning into viral costume humor during his prime? Could you see Kobe turning himself into a mean mid-championship run? Probably not, but times change. Branding today is louder, more playful, more experimental. Whether that enhances or damages a legacy depends on who you ask. Then there's availability. The 65-game rule for all NBA and MVP eligibility changed the conversation. In 2026, LeBron missed enough games, including one in February against the Spurs due to foot issues, to fall short of that mark for the first time in decades. That stat became ammunition. Critics said it proved longevity doesn't always equal durability at the highest level. Supporters countered that playing into your 40s at an elite level is historic no matter what. Detractors respond that a king shows up when it counts, no excuses. The debate gets louder every season. LeBron has publicly questioned the grind of the 82-game schedule, suggesting it may need reevaluation in the modern era. Some agree, pointing to sports science and injury prevention. Others hear it and think it sounds like complaining about a structure that past legends never challenged. So here we are. One side sees a once-in-a-generation athlete who adapted, evolved, and dominated across eras. The other sees a superstar who benefited from rule shifts, branding power, and perfect roster moves. Shaq's perspective leans toward valuing peak intimidation over polished longevity. And that's the heart of it. Is greatness about surviving the longest or about ruling so hard that nobody questions it? That argument isn't ending anytime soon. But sometimes guys are not able to play. The guys are literally not able to play. It's not like we're on, national televised game. Back in the 80s and 90s, 82 games meant 82 games. No debates, no data charts, no load charts on a tablet before tip-off. You played because that was the job. If you were healthy enough to stand, you suited up. That was the code. Look at what those legends pushed through. Larry Bird battled a back injury so serious he had to lie flat on the floor near the bench just to keep from locking up. Isaiah Thomas dropped 25 points in a finals quarter on a badly injured ankle, barely able to plant his foot. Kobe Bryant won a title in 2010 with a broken finger on his shooting hand and adjusted his mechanics instead of sitting out. That mentality hit different. And then there's Jordan, 9 seasons playing all 82 games. Even at 40 years old with the Wizards on a team not chasing the title, he still showed up every night. Why?
because fans paid to see him. That was his mindset. No excuses, no shortcuts. First and foremost, I never wanted to miss a game because it was an opportunity to prove. It was something that I felt like, the fans are there that watch me play. I want to impress that guy way up on top who probably worked his ass off to get a ticket. Now shift to what critics call the most toxic part of LeBron's brand, the PR machine. The pushback from former players isn't about jealousy. Most of them are secure in their own legacies. It's about fatigue. In late 2025, Charles Barkley went on the Bill Simmons podcast and openly challenged modern narratives. But for him and his guys, if you don't say he's the greatest ever, it's like you committed treason.
He pointed out basic facts like Jordan winning 10 scoring titles in 11 seasons with Chicago, compared to LeBron's single scoring title across a much longer career. That stat alone sparks chaos online. Even Kareem Abdul-Jabbar has publicly questioned some of LeBron's social media behavior, saying certain posts felt beneath someone of his stature. When an all-time great speaks up like that, people pay attention. It adds fuel to an already heated debate about image versus substance. Critics argue that today's stars invest millions in body maintenance and recovery, which is smart in a business sense, but they question whether protecting longevity sometimes overshadows the grind that defined earlier eras. Fair or not, that comparison keeps popping up. Then we get to 2011. For old-school fans, that series is the turning point. Miami formed a super team. Expectations were sky high. LeBron was in his prime. Instead of domination, the finals against Dallas became one of the most scrutinized performances ever. He averaged 17.8 points for the series. In Game 4, with momentum on the line, he scored 8 points in 45 minutes, shooting 3 for 11. 8 points. That stat lives forever. Critics say Jordan or Kobe would have forced the issue, even in a loss. Instead, LeBron looked hesitant, deferring late in games. He averaged just 3 points per fourth quarter in that series. Meanwhile, players like J.J. Barea and Jason Terry had huge moments for Dallas. That contrast still stings for fans who value clutch aggression. And the optics didn't help. Before Game 5, LeBron and Dwyane Wade were seen joking about Dirk Nowitzki being sick with a high fever, fake coughing in a hallway clip that went viral. Dirk responded with 29 points in Game 5 and pushed Dallas toward a 3-2 lead. The Mavericks closed it out in Miami. That moment became symbolic for critics who say legends respond with production, not jokes. Beyond that series, some fans argued the league culture shifted. Rivalries once felt personal. Shaq admitted he used perceived slights as motivation to dominate. Today, players train together in the off-season, vacation together, build wine brands together. Supporters call it brotherhood. Critics call it soft competition. Then there's clutch sports. LeBron and Rich Paul built a powerful agency that represents major talent across the league. Supporters see it as player empowerment, athletes controlling their careers. Detractors seek calculated roster maneuvering that ensures LeBron always lands in strong situations. When he wins, he's praised as brilliant. When he loses, narratives often shift to age, injuries, or roster flaws. That perception drives a lot of resentment. In 2026, that narrative battle feels stronger than ever. Every win becomes proof of greatness. Every loss gets contextualized. The debate isn't just about stats anymore. It's about control of the story. So when Shaq leaves LeBron off his all-time starting five, it's not random for him. It's about what the game felt like at its rawest. It's about fear, edge, and stepping on the court ready to break someone's will. He doesn't question LeBron's talent. Nobody serious does. The question is about choices, about branding versus brutality, about whether the face of a generation leaned too hard into celebrity and not hard enough into intimidation. And that's why this argument won't die. It's bigger than rings, bigger than points. It's about what you believe greatness should look like. If you rock with this breakdown, hit that like button right now. Subscribe so you don't miss the next deep dive. Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this debate is far from over. Share this with someone who still thinks the GOAT conversation is settled, and I'll catch you on the next one.